All right, so here is a prototype of a pocket winder. So this is just a small case that will hold all of the parts that you need to respool your ribbons without needing to have loose parts everywhere. So here we have 2 layers. These are held together with small little magnets, but strong enough that it all stays together and won't just fall out. It fits nicely into a pocket of one of your, carrying cases or whatever. So on the back, we have instructions. There's a QR code with more details and photos and all the rest of it, but if you're here watching this video, then you probably won't need all that. So, all right, so when we open it, on the inside there just happens to be an engraving, but so it goes. First of all, you take out this back spacer, and you've got the spacer that protects the spool from the thumb screw. So here we have a little M4 nut that will pin everything together. Then we have some extra hardware. We'll go over what that's useful for later, but for now, we'll just go ahead and assemble this. So the first thing that we'll do is we will thread this in. Once it's started, you can just let it go. Done. Then you load on your spool. So go ahead and put on the empty one. So this will be your drive spool. The one that has ribbon on it will be your feed spool. And you put your spacer. If this is just a plastic one, like a plastic spool, you really don't need to worry too much about the spacer, but it does protect any metal spools or anything like that. So then we screw this one on. And one of the nice parts is that this is really easy to tighten on. So there's nothing that prevents you from, assembling something like this from just washers and nuts. That's it. Like, that's really all this is. But it is convenient to have it all in one package. And again, it's nice being able to quickly load these up rather than needing to twist on small nuts. So as it's set up right now, we can now load this in. If we hadn't already tightened this on, then this would be our, let's say this was loose and we only had an empty spool, this would be our opportunity to load this up. So from here, we could then have an extra hand because this would all be held in space. So one thing that is convenient, a toothpick or a skewer, anything to hold this so that you're not having to hold it in place is very convenient. As you get towards the end, it definitely pays to go a little slower. There you go. This one wasn't attached particularly well. But definitely towards the end, it pays to go a little bit slower to make sure that you don't rip off the plastic hooks, especially on the ones that have plastic ones. It can quickly tear those off. So, all right. And then we just loosen that, pops right out. Spacer will go there. And then now we can feed this onto our, put this onto our typewriter. And then when we're done respooling everything, this will all just go back together in this little kit. Previously, I had been using an assembly that kind of just all stayed together, and it didn't pack very flat, and was kind of a pain. So the whole purpose for this was to have a nice little assembly that slides into a pocket or fits into your toolkit. So one note, not everybody uses drills, or perhaps you have an impact driver instead. The way that this all is set up, this allows you to use either a drill or a driver. So the only difference is that you're going to start off with one of these nuts on there, And if you have a particularly tall or long socket, then you can use a second one. You can leave this on there if you want. And then once we've got that additional drive nut on there, everything else is just like we did before. So we'll load on our empty spool, then we'll put on our spacer, we put on the thumb screw. And now the difference is just that instead of holding it from this end, this fits and seats into a 7mm socket into an impact driver. There you go. So that's all there is to it. Yeah, I hope that this demystified how this whole assembly works, and hope somebody finds it useful. So with that, cheers and happy typing.